The Stonecutter's persistence. Have you ever wondered why some people achieve greatness while others give up halfway? What makes one person push forward against all odds, while another surrenders when life becomes hard? In the quiet mountains of a small village, lived a simple stonecutter. Every day, from sunrise to sunset, he worked with his hammer and chisel. The sharp sound of metal striking stone echoed through the valley. Tink, 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 hour after hour. The villagers often looked at him with pity. He was poor, his clothes were worn, and his home was nothing more than a small hut. Yet, the stonecutter never complained. He had only one belief in his heart: with persistence, even the hardest stone can be shaped. But persistence is rarely rewarded quickly. Days passed, weeks passed, even years passed, and still he worked, breaking stones one by one. His body grew tired, his hands were scarred, but his spirit did not break. One day, the stonecutter was asked to work on a massive mountain rock. It was larger than any he had ever faced before. The villagers whispered, "He will never break it. This rock is too strong. He will fail." But the stonecutter simply smiled. He picked up his hammer, and with steady rhythm, began his work. Tink, tink, tink. The sound echoed louder than ever. He struck the rock once, nothing happened. He struck it 100 times, still nothing. 1,000 times, the rock stood unshaken. The villagers laughed. "Why waste your life hitting something that will never break?" Yet the stonecutter whispered to himself, "Every strike matters. Even if I don't see the change, the stone remembers." As weeks passed, his body weakened. His arms ached, his shoulders burned, his back screamed with pain. Doubt began to whisper in his ear, "What if they are right? What if you never succeed? What if this is all for nothing?" For a moment, the stonecutter lowered his hammer. He stared at the massive rock before him, unbroken, unmoved. The voices of the villagers echoed in his head. "Give up. It's impossible. You are foolish." But then he remembered something his father once told him as a child: the greatest strength of a man is not in his muscles, but in his heart. Persistence turns the impossible into possible. With renewed courage, he lifted the hammer again. Tink, tink, tink. The sound returned, steady and determined. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. The seasons changed. The burning summer sun gave way to autumn winds, then the harsh bite of winter. Snow covered the mountain, but still the stonecutter stood before the rock. His clothes grew thinner, his hands grew rougher, yet his spirit remained unbroken. Each day, the same rhythm. Tink, tink, tink. The hammer struck again and again. Villagers passing by shook their heads. "Why doesn't he stop? Doesn't he see it's useless? He's wasting his life." But the stonecutter whispered, "Even when the world doubts me, I must not doubt myself." One afternoon, a group of young men gathered around to watch him. They laughed as he swung the hammer. "Look at him. He has been striking that stone for months and nothing has changed. Maybe he thinks he's stronger than the mountain." Their laughter echoed louder than his hammer. For a moment, their voices pierced his heart. He felt the weight of shame pressing upon him. But instead of stopping, he closed his eyes and remembered the faces of his children. He thought of their hunger, their hopes, their future. He opened his eyes and declared silently to himself, "I am not striking for the stone. I am striking for them." And once again, tink, 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 the rhythm of persistence continued. What the villagers did not notice was that something was happening inside the rock. Every strike of the hammer, every vibration, every chisel mark, was leaving its memory deep within the stone. Invisible cracks were forming, hidden from the eye. The stonecutter could not see it either, but he believed. He believed with all his heart that no effort is ever wasted. Because persistence is like water dripping on a rock, unseen at first, but over time it carves valleys. And so he struck again. And again. And again. The stonecutter lifted his hammer once more. His body was trembling, sweat dripped down his forehead, and his arms felt heavier than ever before. He had struck the rock so many times, he had lost count. Perhaps 10,000, perhaps more. And then, crack! A sharp sound echoed through the mountains. The villagers froze. The mocking voices went silent. The stonecutter opened his eyes in disbelief. A thin line had appeared across the surface of the massive rock. He struck again. Crack! The line grew deeper. Once more. Crash! The enormous stone split apart and collapsed to the ground. The villagers gasped. What seemed impossible just moments ago was now reality. The stonecutter dropped to his knees, not from weakness, but from overwhelming relief. Tears filled his eyes. He whispered, "It was not the last strike that broke the stone, it was every strike before it." That day, the villagers learned a lesson they would never forget. They realized that success is not about sudden miracles, but about daily persistence. It is not the final push that makes the difference, it is the countless unseen efforts before it. The stonecutter had taught them that persistence is stronger than talent, stronger than luck, stronger than doubt. Because persistence is the silent power that turns weakness into strength, and impossibility into reality. The whispers of mockery turned into words of admiration. People who once laughed at him now bowed their heads in respect, but the stonecutter simply smiled. He knew the truth all along, every strike matters. My friend, maybe you are facing your own mountain right now. Maybe your dream feels too far away, your goal too heavy, your journey too long. You may feel tired, discouraged, and ready to give up. The world may laugh, people may doubt you, even your own heart may whisper, "Quit." But remember this story. Remember the sound of the hammer. Remember the stonecutter's words, "It is not the last strike that breaks the stone, it is every strike before it." Every effort you make counts. Every small step matters. Every day you choose persistence, you are closer than you think. So keep going. Keep striking. One day, when you least expect it, your mountain will break too. Thank you so much for watching this story. I truly hope it gave you strength and reminded you that no effort is ever wasted. If this message touched your heart, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need this encouragement today. Every time you show your support, it helps us bring more inspiring stories to you and to people around the world. And remember, persistence always wins, even when the results are not visible at first. Keep striking, keep believing, and your breakthrough will come. Until then, stay strong, stay inspired, and see you in the next story.